जाए थोड़ा सा. Okay, we were caught in the middle. All right, thank you everyone for coming. I'm Ahmed Awan, and I'm going to be the one trying to make you laugh today. So just relax, and if you laugh at a 2, try laughing at a 10 today. It's a special day. Most of the people here are family and friends, and the other people, I just met also look pretty nice. So hopefully everyone will have a good time here. All right, so I'm a nephrologist. Some of you know that I am a nephrologist. Nephrologists are doctors who take care of kidneys. For people who don't know what kidneys are, it's going to be, a long time explaining what kidneys are. But if you already know what kidneys are, the kidney doctors are the one who take care of them. And kidneys make urine. So a lot of people think, why did you do nephrology? You have to deal with urine. But I usually tell them, our patients make the least amount of urine. We usually make sure they don't make any urine. So don't think we're dealing with urine. We're actually dealing with no urine. So our patients are actually the best patients to have. And sometimes we try to even stop their bowel movements as well. So, there is really no mess. But a lot of people ask me, why nephrology? Why did you choose nephrology? And usually what I tell them is 3 words. Look at me. If you look at me, you can see I cannot be a cardiac surgeon or a neurosurgeon, not definitely a plastic surgeon, because looking like this, you cannot tell other people how they can look better. When people see me, they're usually always telling me, go get some rest. You need some rest. I wake up after 16 hours, go downstairs, and my kids, Baba, you need rest. You go get some rest, I had a bunch of handymen in the house. They were like moving stuff around, and there were 3 people in the house trying to move a heavy bed. And I heard their, request, and I went downstairs. I said, I'm going to help them. And they looked at me and they said, why don't you go get some rest? We'll get your wife help us, she is here. Maybe she can just help us to go get some rest. Like, I'm always looking like this. I don't know. There's some undiagnosed illness or something going on. I'm always looking sick. But this gives hope to my patient, When they see me, they're like, if he can make it, we can make it. If he is walking and talking, looking like this, we are definitely going to be okay. One of my patients told me, oh, you just look like my cardiologist. I said, okay. Was he also from Pakistan and tall and handsome? He said, no, he had tuberculosis. He died 2 years ago. I said, okay. I was expecting something better. Usually if I tell someone, oh, your mom, I try to make a sad face, sadder than what I look right now. And I tell them, your mom only has 3 months to live. They're more concerned about, doc, are you going to be around in 3 months to take care of her? Or she will be here longer than you are, My patients who come back for follow-up after 2 years are usually shocked to see me. Like, how come he's still here? Like, is he the ghost? So usually, I show them the last couple of years, I had, a couple of babies. We'll talk about them in a little bit, I'm blessed. But my patients knew that I was on paternity leave. And now when they come to the clinic to see me, they're usually asking for kids' pictures. And my 3rd baby is cute, and, others are okay. But usually I show the picture of my 3rd baby, who I think is cute. And any patient who sees this baby says, oh, this baby looks cute. I think he takes after his mom. But you have never met his mom. How do you know he takes after his mom? He said, yeah, I haven't met his mom, but I have met you. So I can imagine if the baby is cute, probably it's because he takes after his mom. And this is a look from the front. Now, I did not know that I'm also getting bald. And I did not know that. No one told me. My family is very nice. They probably were trying not to make me feel bad, but I started seeing Facebook posts. And there were Facebook posts like, have you lost all your self-confidence? Is your wife distancing herself from you? Do you feel like you need to stop and just die? I said, what happened? Like, everything seems okay. I haven't been diagnosed with anything fatal. Like, there's nothing going on. And it turned out that I was losing some hair from the top. And I used to think that Facebook is monitoring you from the front, like they're listening to you and they're watching your face from the camera. And that's why you're getting all these ads. Anything you talk about, it gives you a recommendation. Anything you discuss, you start seeing some ads. But turns out that Facebook is also using satellite to watch us from the top and giving recommendations for the things we need in the back. Now that's scary. Usually I'm not scared of Facebook. I'm not worried that they know where I live or how many rooms I have in the house. Everything is on Zillow and HAR, right? Everyone knows where every room is, where the towels are hanging, where the beds are, where the entrance is. And we have webcams monitoring everything. Everything is being transmitted to some strangers who can look in any time. And it's supposed to be keeping us safe. So I usually don't mind that Facebook is watching us, but this thing really scared me. And people who are losing hair, they lose confidence because it's a very slow process, right? So if you wake up one day and you look like Vin Diesel or Jason Statham or The Rock, you'll be just fine. There's nothing wrong with losing hair. But it's always this process where you feel like this unfinished business. Like, people are looking at you like, he came out of the house like this. Like, why didn't he just do something about it? And you start seeing ads for things like the Real Man spray, or the Otter, the Bear spray, or things that talk about animals that have a lot of hair. And then you realize they're trying to sell you something because you are not confident in how you look. And then they give you the before and after picture, right? So it's the same guy with same amount of hair on his head, but before picture, he's wearing a vest, the hair coming out, he hasn't shaved for 5 years, looks like he just released from Guantanamo Bay. And then the after picture, same guy, same amount of hair, but he has a 3-piece suit on, he just shaved, got a facial done. And you say, yeah, I want to look like this after guy. I don't want to look like the before guy, right? So everyone wants to look like an after guy. And that's some philosophy of life that you need to learn. When you are in your 20s, you feel fascinated and you are jealous of people who look good, who look really good, people like Tom Cruise and Shakira. When you are in your 30s and 40s, early 40s, you are jealous of people who are really successful at what they do, people like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, people who are really rich and famous. When you are in late 40s and 50s, you are jealous of people who have a head full of hair. Now, I sometimes feel jealous of people who are on dialysis just because they still have a head full of hair. I said, man, I wish I could exchange spots with you. I'm okay with getting dialysis for 3 hours, but rest of the day, I'll have a head full of hair. But yeah, you can't choose that. And when you are in your 70s and 80s, you are jealous of people who are still alive, right? Like, that's the ultimate goal of life. Even if you did not look good, even if you were not successful professionally, even if you lost all your hair in your 40s and 50s, if you can make it to 70s and 80s and beat your peers to it, that's the ultimate success. Now, I've heard my dad, he is in his 70s now, and sometimes he's telling you about one of his cousins or one of his classmates who died, and he's trying to sound sad, but I can feel the joy and the pride in his voice that I beat him. I beat that sucker. Who is the better athlete now, huh? Who are the girls talking to now? Who can go 400 meters now? Huh? I beat you to it. So that's the ultimate goal of life. We all want to live longer. And they did a study where there's a group of researchers, and they compared people with different risk factors to people without those risk factors. So there were smokers, drinkers, people who used to do drugs and things like that. And then there were people who had a very clean life. They would diet, they would exercise, no drugs, no alcohol. And they studied them for a long period of time. And you know which group died first? The researchers. It's a lot of stress. Getting funding for research, it's a lot of stress. People who do drugs and smoke, they're relaxed, they're happy. But there are people who are not doing anything, they're not happy. We don't know who died because the researchers died first. We don't have the results of that study. That's still unpublished. Talking about my dad, he's a Pakistani dad. And we know all of our Pakistani dads usually act very nonchalant. They're not worried about anything. You talk about, health or living longer, and they will say something like, I'll tell you in Urdu how they say it, and then I'll try to translate it in English. Jab jana hai, tab jana hai. Right? When it's time to go, it's time to go. So all we want is Allah hame chalte phirte utha le. Allah kisi ka muhtaj na kare. So the English translation roughly would be, we want God to pick us up, walking, talking, right? We just want to leave, walking, talking. We don't want to be in bed. We don't want to be dependent on anyone. We just want, and that's what the parents say. The Pakistani parents, when you tell them to go see a doctor and things like that, that's what they say. But when it's time to die, they don't want to die. From our experience, we can tell you, they want to see their kids. They want to see their kids getting married. They want to see their kids. And then they want to see their grandkids getting married. Like my grandma in her 80s was sad that she couldn't see the wedding of her great-grandkids. So when it's time to die, they're not ready. But that's what they will tell you. We want to go. We are ready to go. We want to go walking, talking, right? So last week, actually a couple of weeks ago, my dad was having some trouble with his brain. Like he was feeling dizzy. And when he was walking, he felt like falling to one side. So he has like trouble with his balance. So sometimes he would veer to the right, sometimes he would veer to the left. And we were worried about it. We told him, my sister who lives with him told him, you need to go get some tests. I told him, you need to go get some tests. And he's like, no, when it's time to go, it's time to go. I want God to pick me up walking, talking. I said, you're not even walking straight. You are falling to the right and the left. How's gonna God pick you up? Walking, talking. When you are not in a straight line, you have to walk straight before God can pick you up walking, talking. But you can't argue with your parents. And you can't argue with your kids. And definitely you can't argue with your wife. So all who is left is your Facebook friends. So everyone can argue on Facebook, So Facebook is where we live. Now Facebook is weird. You see all these celebrities and their followers. It's a different world, You will see people with like 20, 25 friends, and they're posting something like, the entire country should rise against this oppression. Who are you talking to? You have 20 followers. Half of them are fake accounts. Most of those friends are not even talking to you, and you are trying to raise people up for a revolution. Worse even, they are celebrities, especially Pakistani celebrities. They're here in town right now, and especially girls celebrities, women celebrities, they have huge fan following. And they don't realize all these followers are on Facebook, on their page, just for pundi. And if you don't know what pundi is, it's just the act of trying to see a girl. You're not trying to talk to her. You're not trying to make her friend. You're not trying to marry her. It's the whole process, the aim of this process is to get to a place where you can watch girls. So in Lahore, in Karachi, everyone knows where the pundi spots are. So pundi is a verb. Poond is a noun, right? So all these people following these celebrities are poons who are watching their Facebook and Instagram reels at night under the blanket, phone like this. And once or twice the phone falls on their face like a slap from the nature. I think it happened to every one of us. You're watching something and all of a sudden it's like, something falls on your face. And then they're writing these posts about the whole nation should rise up and raise their voices against this oppression. We won't tolerate this injustice. Ma'am, all your followers are in the blanket with lights off, watching you at night. They can't even get out of their blanket to see your Instagram reels. They can't even raise their voices inside their house. You're expecting these people to raise up and raise a revolution and create havoc in the... It's not going to happen. Just know your audience. That's the first rule of show business. Know your audience, right? So they need to know their audience. And then all of a sudden, one of these spoons who is following these celebrities on Facebook have a bout of religiousness. All of a sudden, sister, this is haram. First of all, how is she your sister? Right? But Muslims, whenever we have an attack of religiousness, we say, brother, don't do this, haram. Sister, everyone is a brother and sister. The Mufti Menk, a lot of people know, one of the religious scholars, Mufti Menk, he has a huge following. And once he was giving a lecture about the day of judgment, talking about scary stuff and what's going to happen, and you're going to be answerable for what you do. And he said, God will say on the day of judgment, brother, come here. What were you doing in the world? Brother, come here. There was an ad in one of the mosques for marriage. And the ad said, a Muslim brother is looking for a Muslim sister for marriage. So whoever is interested, contact Brother Mustafa so he can put you in touch with Sister Fatima. Right? So sister, it is haram. Like what? You are following that page because she's wearing dresses with no privacy settings. That's why you are following this page. Don't try to show the right path, you know. The Muslim boys, you know, especially people who are raised in Pakistan and India, they have a tough life, you know. It's hard for them to, first of all, it's hard for them to get out of this brother zone, right? They hardly find someone who's not going to call them brother. All cousins, all people they know, brother, bhai, do this, bhai, do that. So it's hard to get out of that brother zone. If somehow they manage to get out of the brother zone, and they eventually find someone that they can have a romantic relationship with, a girlfriend, a fiance, and now they expect something different in life, they usually get a call early in the morning before the sunrise, and their girlfriend is on the other side, and they're happy now something new is exciting is going to happen in my life. And usually what they tell them is, Janu, wake up, time for Fajr. You need to pray Fajr today. Is that why I asked for a girlfriend? You're telling me to pray in the morning? And you're sleepy, you're like, yeah, that's fine, I'll pray. No, put it on video call. I want to see you doing wudu. I want to see you doing the prayers. And usually it's in Pakistan when there's no hot water, so you have to do wudu in the morning and you have to pray. And no, I don't want to pray. Oh, if you don't want to do it for Allah, do it for me, please. Well, you are just changing the entire trajectory of the religion and the relationship. So Muslim brothers, unfortunately, are very unlucky when it comes to relationships. And talking about prayer, one more thing. For people who don't know, Muslims pray 5 times a day. They're supposed to pray 5 times a day. And it's mainly because we need help with pretty much everything. So it's a kid's exam. I want him to pass his math test. I'm going to pray. Before I came here, I was praying, oh Allah, please make sure everyone laughs on my jokes. There's a huge universe, 93 billion light years wide, and God is taking care of at least 8 billion people on this universe. And He has to leave everything and focus on you and make sure your kid doesn't make a mistake multiplying 7 into 3, and you get enough laughs at your stand-up. Like, that's asking too much. I think God is happy that there are a bunch of atheists in the universe. Otherwise, He'll be terribly, terribly busy. 5 times a day prayer reminds me of a story. One of our friends, Faraz, some people here know him. He's a very religious man, and he was at Tulane doing his PhD about 10 years ago. And they went to see the provost, chancellor, whoever was responsible at that time. There was no prayer room at Tulane in 2017, 16 or 17, I believe. So they went to the chancellor and they told them, we need a room where we can pray. Said, okay, that's fine. You need a room? When do you need it? Friday? No, we need it every day. Oh, you have to pray every day? Okay, that's fine. You know, it's the first time someone is asking me, that's fine. So what time of the day do you need it? We need it 5 times a day. You need to pray 5 times a day, every day? Okay, we can make some arrangements. Just tell us the time when you need to pray. I can't tell you the time. It's different in winters. It's different in summers. The time keeps changing depending on how the sun is and how the moon is. So I can't really tell you the exact time. So it will be a fluctuating schedule. Said, okay, we'll get you a room. Before he left the room, he's telling the vice chancellor, if you ever want to convert to Islam, let me know. And the guy is like, I have a full-time job, so I think I cannot keep up with this right now. Once I'm ready to retire, and I can keep track of all these changing prayer schedules, I'll think about it. So tell me, let me tell you a few things about the medical profession. That's the focus of our stand-up today. Most people are here from the medical profession, or at least have dealt with someone in the medical profession. And people have a lot of misconceptions about medical profession, thinking that life is very easy, they have a lot of money. First, let me focus on some of the things that other professions have that the medical profession doesn't have. We have a lot of accountability in the medical profession. Our patients get upset pretty quickly, pretty easily. But then there are a lot of professions where really there's no accountability. Let me give you a few examples. Now, a lot of people in Houston know about NASA, right? Everyone here has heard about NASA. We know a lot of smart people work there, right? They discover things about the universe. Everyone who works there is respected and everyone is in awe. They're so smart. But think about this. There's a guy working in NASA for 20 years, 25 years, and he comes to you and tells you, we have discovered a galaxy that's been around for 2 billion years. And the size of this galaxy is about 13 million light years. And he's expecting you to appreciate him for his discovery. Now, first of all, you've been on this job for 20, 25 years. And your job was to find new galaxies. And you missed this galaxy for the last 25 years. And it's not a small galaxy, it's a huge galaxy. Now, as a physician, if I tell a patient, you have a 2-centimeter tumor that's been there for the last 2 years, and I thought I'd just let you know, you think, is he going to appreciate my discovery? Like, for 2 years, you missed my tumor. It's only 2 centimeters in size. And these people are missing galaxies, and everyone is appreciating them. Like, where is the accountability? And then they will tell you fascinating facts about the universe, like they had something to do with it. Oh, the universe is, 93 billion light years across, and 1 light year is about 6 trillion miles. And, first of all, what are we going to do with this information? And secondly, why are you taking credit for it? What did you do to create this universe, or what did you have to do with what we are seeing in the universe? And then they tell you this is just the observable universe, right? So this is just the observable universe, which means there's a lot of universe we haven't observed yet. And these people still go home at 5 o'clock. No one is trying to stay overtime or do the night call, trying to observe the universe that's unobservable so far. Why is there no accountability? Who is looking for the galaxies at night? What if some star passes by and we miss it? And then 20 years later, you try to take credit for it? You were not on call 20 years ago. And you missed this star. You missed this galaxy. Why are you trying to take credit for it? It's like, if I have a patient and his blood flow to the leg is gone and he has gangrene of the toes, instead of fixing it, I just tell them, if we put all your blood vessels together side by side, it's gonna be about 60,000 miles long. Take it. What are you gonna do about it? I don't know. I'm not gonna do anything about it. I just wanted you to know that I know so much. Neil deGrasse Tyson, Carl Sagan, Ahmed Awan, just sharing facts for your knowledge, No accountability for these people. Why is there no accountability for these people? Take another profession, for example. People who are predicting weather, right? The weather forecast people, that's the description of their job. They're predicting weather. And what are they telling you? There's a 40% chance of rain next week, and 60% chance there will be no rain. 40% chance it will rain. And if 40% chance of no rain, 60% chance of rain. Or they will keep you confused, I don't know. But if they tell you there will be no rain, and it rains, there was 60% chance of no rain, no one goes back to them and says, dude, because of you, I got wet. Because of you, I didn't take my umbrella. I'm gonna take you to the court. I'm getting wet because of you. Now, for Desis, it's different because even if we have an umbrella with us, we can never open it at the right time. Like when we get out of the car, it usually gets stuck somewhere, the water accumulates, you open it, most of the water falls on you. We cannot. The Americans, by Americans I mean people who were born and raised here, they will open the umbrella at the exact right time. They're never wet under the umbrella. You see a Desi coming with the umbrella, they always have one of the pants or one of the shirts or one of the arms is wet. But what if I tell a patient, I'm giving you this diagnosis, 40% chance I'm right. 60% chance I'm wrong. But why don't you do the copay at the before you leave? We'll find out in 2 months. If you come back for your appointment, I'm right. If you don't come back to your appointment, I'll understand. No hard feelings. Just make sure you don't miss your copay on the way out. Now, some people may say rain is no big deal. It's just water. It dries out. Okay. What about the hurricanes? Now, there's a huge difference between Category 1 hurricanes and Category 4 and 5 hurricanes. Category 1, no one cares. 4 and 5, it's going to be huge destruction. It's going to take months to recover from that hurricane. And you have these weather forecast people telling you one day it's Hurricane Category 2, the next day is 4, next day is 3, next day is 1, and when it lands it's 4, you're destroyed, you're under the rubble, I'm sorry, oopsie daisies, we were wrong. Imagine a doctor, we have stages of kidney disease, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 being the worst when you end up on dialysis. Imagine a doctor doing this to you. You have stage 4 kidney disease, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe you do need dialysis, maybe you don't. We'll find out. Or an oncologist, your cancer, stage 1, 2, 3, I don't know, we'll see. No one is going after these weather people. So we need to raise our voices for the rights of the physicians. We are not getting our rights. No one is fighting against NASA people, and no one is fighting against these weather people. Talk about sports. Now, everyone here is familiar with the name Ronaldo, right? People, soccer fans, everyone knows he's the highest paid player as far as I know. Got paid about $500 million for the contract he had with Al-Nassr, and then Messi, $200, $300 million. No physician makes that kind of money in their lifetime, right? So these are the players who are practicing for the whole year to play a soccer match. They get time to warm up. If they get tired during the match, they can wait, get rest, get physical therapy. And then they go on to play soccer matches where they have 11 people on each side, and they don't score a single goal for the whole match. And millions of people are watching them. No one is blaming them for missing the goalpost, which is like 8 feet tall and I believe 24 feet wide. And they're missing the goalpost by 30 meters, 40 meters, 50 meters. And I, as a physician, used to do kidney biopsies. You go in with a needle to the back of the patient. And I missed the kidney biopsy by 10 meters. And I was sued by 2 patients, not one. One who was supposed to get the biopsy and didn't get it, and the one on the next bed who wasn't supposed to get the biopsy and then got it. So why do these people get the margin? And then there are some people who might say, you are dealing with human life, right? These are soccer players, they're just having fun. You are dealing with human life. That's why the rules are strict. You need to be held accountable. Everyone else, we can just let them go. But what is life? One of the biggest philosophers of our time, I don't know if it was Snoop Dogg or 50 Cent, he said, life is time. Life is nothing but time. And if you calculate the time, one human being who lives for 75 years has about 657,000 hours in his life. If you include 18 leap years, add another 432 hours. So you're living for 657,432 hours. That's one human life. If 1 million people watch a match for 90 minutes, that's 1.5 million hours. That makes it about 2.5 human lives lost in every single soccer match where teams don't score. So a lot of lives are being lost, and then at least 2,000, 2,500 matches being played every year. So these people are taking lives. There should be equal accountability, and they're getting paid a lot more. No fan has ever sued Ronaldo for not scoring in the whole match or missing a penalty. Why are the doctors always under pressure? And then, these players, when they're playing, they have like 90,000 people cheering for them, right? A lot of people cheering for them. Imagine we had 90,000 people cheering for us when we're going to see a patient. Imagine the quality of care we will be providing. We'll ask every question in the medical history. What happened 20 years ago? Where do you get this bruise? Where do you get this scratch? Ask about family history. We'll go to their homes, take environmental history. We're going to reconcile all the medications, make sure all the doses are right. And when someone gets better and is going home, we'll do a backflip and thump our chest. Right? Just like the soccer players. So we have tougher standards. We need to relax these standards. There's one more profession that I want to talk about that has very relaxed standards. And that's a profession that we don't know why it exists, really. Like, especially for people with families. But whenever you go to these massage parlors, you cannot easily get an appointment. You can't just walk in and get a massage. You have to make appointments, especially all the reputed massage parlors. You have to make an appointment way ahead in time. Like, I don't know why this whole country is getting so many massages. Like, you don't see the lawn mowing people or the landscaping people or people working in construction getting the massage. These are the ones doing the hard physical jobs, right? Usually it's the people working at home on their keyboards. They have time to listen to their body, see which muscles are tense, which muscles need a deep tissue, which need a Swedish massage. So you go for the massage, and first of all, they put you in a position where you can't resist anything. Like, it's not for your comfort. It's to make sure they have a path of least resistance. Your head is in the hole, the legs on the side. If you put your hand on the side, they'll say, make it go back. You put them on the back, they say, go it on the side. Move the legs. And every couple of minutes, they might ask you, if they're being really nice, you feeling better? How's the pressure? And all you can manage is, yeah, Good. You can't speak a full sentence in that position. You can't resist. And then comes the time when they have to show their peak performance. They take out their real weapon, the elbow. Like first of all, their elbows are sharper than anything that you may have seen in your life. Knives, daggers, anything. Like, they're sharper than anything that you can imagine. They go like 3 centimeters deep in your spleen, you know. And then they'll start rubbing it. How's the pressure? How's the pressure? Yeah, good. How are you feeling? Good? Yeah, good. And then if they're really being professional, they'll use their knuckles to rub your palms and soles. You go in with your neck pain, you come out with back and leg pain. You never come out feeling better. At least 9 out of 10 times, you don't come out feeling better. I've never seen anyone complaining to the state board of massage therapists or whatever their licensing entity is. And before they leave, they give them a tip. Because they give them a little like mint candy and a little bit of a glass of water. Never a full bottle, like a little half bottle that you probably never use. But you always tip them. I never had a patient tip me because I made them feel worse. They even don't tip me if I make them feel better. Sometimes they send in press Guinea scores, and if they really like you, they may say, "Good doctor." Like, you have so much time to write stuff. Like, you were waiting in the lobby to see me for an hour. You could have expanded on this concept of good doctor. Like, you could have said something nice about me. But no, there's really no accountability. And I'm not saying doctors are completely harmless or completely not to blame in this situation. There are some doctors who do their own typical things. Let me talk about a few medical specialties. It's just for jokes, guys. LOL in medicine. Okay, I know a lot of doctors are here. It's just LOL, okay? Don't take it personal. Don't take it serious. But we all love our pediatricians, right? So we all love our pediatricians because our kids see the pediatrician, they get a candy, they get a sticker, they all love our pediatrician. People here with kids, raise their hands. And people here with no kids, raise their hands. All right. People here with no kids, have fun while you can. And people here with kids, you have 30 more minutes to have fun. I guess then you'll be with your kids. But pediatricians, anytime you go see a pediatrician, no matter what the problem is, and take notes, people who don't have kids, anytime you go see a pediatrician, whether it's a cold, or kid can't move his arm, or fell down and had a big laceration on the head, the first time you go see the pediatrician, they're going to say, "I'm not worried, it's going to get better." It's going to get better on its own. I'm not going to help it, I'm not going to touch it, I'm not going to do anything. Just take the kid home, let them eat and drink, and it's going to get better on its own. And don't forget the flu shot before you. Don't forget the flu shot before you leave. So we love the pediatrician, so we go home, we don't do anything, and kid is not getting better. I'm not worried because the pediatrician said, I'm not worried. So if they're not worried, I'm not worried. Usually they say we'll keep a closed eye on the patient, we'll keep a closed eye. Not a closed eye, we'll keep a closed eye on the patient. So they're not worried. 1 week goes by, 2 weeks go by, and then kid is not getting better, and you start getting worried because it's your kid, hopefully. So you start getting worried. And then you go back to the pediatrician. It's the second time. Now you won't see the pediatrician getting surprised. Like, it's not like they were expecting kid will get better and now the kid is not better, so now they're scratching. They're relaxed, Oh, he didn't get better? That's fine. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. It's probably just allergies. Well, he's not moving his eyes, probably just allergies. Don't let him eat or drink anything for the next 2 years. And he will be fine. And if they're really being nice, they'll probably pick an otoscope look in the ears. Usually they don't look into anything else. And they look in the ears, I don't know what they see. But if they're being nice to you, they may look in the ears. I'm not worried. It's probably just allergies. Don't let them eat or drink anything for the next couple of years. If they don't get better, bring them back. And on your way out, get the flu shot and the RSV shot. Okay, maybe that will cure it. So it's allergies. They're hoping in a couple of years with climate change, allergies will get better. It's in Houston, a lot of allergies. So you go home, you're not worried, the kid is not getting better. And then after, the prescribed time, you go back to them for follow-up, and kid is not getting better. And the third thing they will tell you is, he'll grow out of it. I'm not worried. It's probably not allergies. He will grow out of it. So don't worry. Just go home, let him eat and drink now. 2 years is a long time not to eat and drink. So let them eat and drink, let them play. And don't forget the flu shot and HPV shot on the way out. And then by the time you are worried again, it's time for them to see the adult PCP. So they're done with the pediatrician. They tried to get the AI robots to take over the jobs of the pediatricians. The robots were so pissed. Our chips cost like $30,000. And all you need to do is tell them it will get better, it's probably allergy, they're going to grow out of it. So you don't need NVIDIA or OpenAI to produce robots to take care of these things. You can just use some Lego parts or maybe leapfrog tablets for these things. You don't need a whole chip, $30,000 worth to take care of these things. Now, when you go see the PCP, it's a completely opposite situation, right? Anything you tell them, they think it's going to kill you. So you go to the adult physician, and you tell them, I'm having some pressure on the chest. Or it may be a heart attack. You need to see a cardiologist. I'm really worried about it. I'm sorry you're going through this. I'm in this with you. I empathize with you. What are you going to do about it? You'll have to see a cardiologist. Okay, but I'm also having some cough. It could be lung cancer. So I don't need to see a cardiologist? No, see the cardiologist, but you also see the pulmonologist, see the lung doctor. It may be lung cancer. But I'm also having some green phlegm. Oh, probably your esophagus perforated. You need to see a gastroenterologist as well. So see the cardiologist, see the pulmonologist, see the gastroenterologist, and when you're walking out, you'll see you have 2 feet. You can have necrotizing fasciitis. You need to see a podiatrist as well. So add that to the list of people you are going to follow up. So the pediatricians don't give you any tests, and then the adult, they always, I've seen, and that's a true story, a PCP in the hospital giving a patient with pneumonia who had chest pain and cough and phlegm these 3 consults, like call cardiology, call pulmonology, call infectious disease specialist. And eventually it turned out it was just a viral pneumonia with a bacterial superinfection, so the pediatrician was right about getting that flu vaccine. If you had taken that flu vaccine, you wouldn't have to see the cardiologist and the pulmonologist and the gastroenterologist and the podiatrist. Now, another specialty that is really nonchalant about your symptoms is the specialty called urology. Now, there are a lot of specialties. We don't have enough time to discuss all of them. I'll discuss the ones that I love the most. So the urologists, usually, they're the ones who deal with the surgical issues with the kidneys and the bladder. If you're having trouble peeing, you're having trouble with your prostate, they may put a catheter in and then eventually take care of the prostate and make you feel better. But usually you get them to see someone in the hospital with some urologic issues, and they will give patients outpatient follow-up. Like, see us in the clinic. Well, you are here, the patient is here, the theater is here. If you need to do something, do something. But no, they usually say outpatient follow-up. If you have retention, if you're not able to empty the bladder, they put a catheter in. We call it Foley. The catheter goes in the bladder, there's a bag hanging down your leg, and they will say outpatient follow-up in 2 weeks. If you have kidney stones, outpatient follow-up in 4 weeks. If you have kidney cancer, outpatient follow-up 2 weeks after your funeral. Because we don't have enough openings to see them in time, and we don't do anything in the hospital. So they'll give you outpatient follow-up for everything. And it's a true story. A patient came to the hospital complaining of having trouble emptying the bladder. And in the emergency room, our emergency physicians usually always check tests for the heart attack. Now, why they do it, no one knows. But they do it. They want to make sure you're not going to die today or tomorrow. So they do a troponin level. It's a test for heart attack. So he came to the emergency room, wasn't able to empty the bladder. They put a catheter in the bladder, and because the blood test showed that troponin was high, they called the cardiologist. Cardiologist came in, said, "What's your problem? I can't pee." "Yeah, that's fine, but tell me about your heart." "Well, I have nothing wrong with my heart." "You don't have chest pain?" "No, I just don't have chest pain." Eventually, he said, "Yeah, I have chest pain." Yeah, if you're asking so many times, like, "Yeah, I have chest pain." "Yeah, let's take you to an angiogram." They took them to angiogram. True story from Memphis. My friend saw this patient. And he went to the angiogram with catheter in the bladder, bag hanging down his leg. He's going to the angiogram. He got the angiogram. They couldn't do anything. They found 3 blockages. "You need a bypass." "Are you having chest pain?" "No." "You having chest pain?" "You having chest?" Yeah. "All right, let's do a bypass." They took him to the bypass, catheter in the bladder, bag hanging down. "Doc, I can't. What about this?" "We'll take care of it later. Let's take care of your heart first." That's it. So he got the bypass surgery. He was in the hospital for 6 weeks, getting rehab, walking with the physical therapist, catheter in the bladder, bag hanging down the leg. 6 weeks later, he's ready to go home. And the doctor who admitted him came back and asked him, "How are you feeling?" "Doc, I still can't pee. I have the catheter." "Well, outpatient follow-up in 2 weeks. You are good to go home." And then the patient asked, thank you. Don't save these claps for later. And the patient asked, "Doc, I'm going to go home with this catheter?" "Yeah, we have plenty of them in the hospital. You can take this catheter home. We are not worried about this catheter." Another specialty, the smartest people in the hospital are the neurologists, because they study brain, they study spinal cord, the cranial nerve, they know all the fancy terms like corpus callosum and hippocampus and amygdala. These are the smartest people in the hospital, because these are the people who are able to keep their job without doing anything. And I'll explain why. So a patient comes to the hospital, happens almost every other day, and they can't move their arm. We get the neurologist, because probably you have a stroke. Yeah, that's fine. Get an MRI. Get the MRI, the neurologist will come in, they'll draw a picture of the brain, spinal cord, all the nerves. This is the spot where you have stroke. All right, now this doctor knows exactly what the problem is, so hopefully he's going to fix it. "Okay, doc, so what are you going to do about it?" "I'm not going to do anything." "What? So who is going to take care of it?" "Well, we may call physical therapists, or speech therapist, or occupational any therapist but me. So let me get this straight. Like, you, in your specialty training for 4 years, were trained to diagnose a problem that you cannot treat. And you need other people to treat this problem? So someone else is doing the MRI, the radiologist is reading the MRI and telling them exactly where the problem is. And then the physical therapist or speech therapist is treating the problem. What's the neurologist doing in the middle? But they're still very important. They have to take the stroke call, tell exactly where the problem is. And one more specialty, we don't have time to go into details. Neurologists are the one delegating their job to the radiologist or the therapist. The psychiatrists are the one delegating the jobs to the patients. You're telling, "Doc, I'm feeling depressed." "What do you think is causing the problem?" "Well, I'm depressed." "Yeah, what do you think?" "Well, maybe because I don't have a good job and my family doesn't. But what do you think?" "Because I'm depressed." They tried AI to take the job of the psychiatrist. They couldn't find enough psychiatrists to train AI because they didn't know what they're doing. They don't have any blood tests. They don't have any blood tests to diagnose any psychiatric problem. They don't have any imaging studies. And now AI people are just talking to the patients who treated themselves. And then turned out AI was having more hallucinations than the patients. So that's another problem they're trying to fix right now. So talking about HIPAA, we can't, so all these patients that I'm telling you about, all these patients these are real stories, but I can't tell you their names because their information is protected, right? And I have 4 kids right now, and I used to have 2 kids until 2 years ago. And I'm not proud of it. We had 2 more in the last 2 years. It wasn't just for fun. It was to protect my patients' privacy. I'll tell you why. We go to different hospitals, all the electronic medical records, you need to have a password so no one can steal patients' information. And that password has to be 14 characters long, has to have some letters and numbers and emojis and picture of your dad and then you have to update it every few weeks. The password expires faster than the milk from Walmart. And it has to be a password you haven't used in the last 2 years. So I found a solution. I'm smart, as you can tell. So I found a solution. I started using names of the family members as password. So first I used my parents' names and their dates of birth, and I have all my siblings. I have 5 siblings, then my wife's name, her family's name. A couple of years ago, I ran out of options. So we had to have 2 more kids so we can use their names and date of births as passwords. I'm not sure what I'm going to do in the next couple of years. But now I have started looking at every relationship as a potential password. And my wife found a couple of passwords and I had to break up with them. But that's okay, we are past that. But the question is, why are we trying to protect patients' information? This HIPAA, the Healthcare Information Protection, Alcoholics Anonymous, I don't know what HIPAA stands for, but whatever it stands for, we are trying to protect patients' information, but what's going to happen if someone finds out, if I'm a patient in the hospital, and they find out I made about 1 liter of urine, I went to the bathroom twice, I ate about 50% of my meal, had a sponge bath in the morning. Who cares about this information? What if this information leaks? Who is going to care about it? Like, who is going to blackmail me and ask me to transfer all my money to them because they're going to leak information about my bowel movements? I went 2 times, I went 4 times. They find out I have diverticulitis. Who can use that information? Or transfer me all your bitcoins. Otherwise, we'll tell everyone your x-ray is not clear. Like, how is that information going to hurt me? And if there's a patient in the hospital and their information gets leaked on the internet, people are watching Taylor Swift, people are watching Kim Kardashian, people are watching Money Heist and Squid Games and Mr. Beast. They'll stop watching everything and start looking at the pressure ulcer of the patient, see how it heals over the next 6 months. Why are we so... There is an organization here that paid millions of dollars to a company that attacked them, ransomware attack, to protect patients' information. And I'm not sure why. Like, there's really nothing to worry about. And the information that you actually want to protect, information about HIV, or chlamydia, or gonorrhea, these sexually transmitted diseases, they want you to disclose that information to not just random people, to your significant other. So what type of confidentiality is this? All the useless information needs to be protected, and all the information I want to protect needs to be disclosed. So we need to think about it. HIPAA, we need to think about. The other thing we need to think about is informed consent. Informed consent is the process where you explain the procedure to the patient, tell them what are the risks of the procedure, what are the benefits of the procedure, and what's going to happen if they don't get the procedure done. And usually every procedure has side effects, right? Every procedure has its own side effects. And you have to tell those side effects to the patient. And almost any procedure that you perform on a human body, there's a potential risk of dying from the procedure. So usually the informed consent goes something like this. You go to the patient and you tell them you have a bad infection in the body, we need to take you to the OR. Okay, doc, what will happen if you don't do the procedure? Well, you will die. And what will happen if you do the procedure? What's the worst that can happen if you do the procedure? Well, you may die. Well, I'm going to die either way. Yeah, every procedure, even the blood transfusion, which we consider very benign, if a patient asks you, what are the side effects of blood transfusion? Well, it's usually pretty benign. Okay, how am I going to feel better? Well, your hemoglobin is 7. If you bring it up to 8, you may start feeling more energy. Okay, and what's the side effect? You may catch hepatitis B, or C, or HIV, just for feeling better and more energy. I can get all day. You're going to check the blood, right? Yeah, we're going to check the blood, but we don't know how unlucky you are. So you may get one of those bags where you can catch this. Okay, what's the worst that can happen? You can die. You can have a transfusion reaction and you can die. And then the doctors start feeling agitated when the patient asks a lot of questions. I had a vascular surgeon come out of the room and he was complaining, man, this patient wasted 20 minutes asking questions about a minor procedure. I missed the first quarter of my basketball game. And it's a piece of cake procedure for me. And he was asking me questions. He wasted 20 minutes. And it's a piece of cake procedure. So what's the procedure? I'm just going to amputate his right leg. It's a piece of cake procedure for me. I've done so many of them. I don't know why he wasted so much time asking these questions. And it's different when I say American, it's people who are born and raised here, who have trained here. These are the people who watch football games and who watch baseball games. It's different when they're getting the consent versus someone like me who was born and raised in Pakistan. They speak slow English. They have to double take everything and explain everything slowly. When an American goes to get the consent, it's usually something like, we're going to do the procedure, take the gallbladder out, home run, the whole 9 yards, and touchdown, and Monday morning quarterback, Tuesday you'll be gone, sign here, and just sign it. And the surgeon goes there, and they're done, they get the consent. I go in there, they're asking me, so what's the procedure going to be? He didn't tell you? Yeah, we talked about Astros and Texans, and we talked about all the games, and so you didn't ask him okay, let me tell you what the procedure is going to be. They're going to take out your gallbladder, and they have done plenty of successful operations. 3 out of their 10 patients died, but they took out the gallbladder, so operation was successful. Okay, well, he's a good surgeon. He's probably going to do it okay. So what can happen to me, doc? What's the worst that can happen? Well, there are a few side effects he may have discussed. Yeah, he said home run and, Monday morning quarterback and touchdown. Okay, well, they can hit something besides the gallbladder, like they can hit okay, yeah, that understandable. The gallbladder on top of the liver, they can probably hit the liver somewhere, and that's okay. So if they're gonna potentially hit the liver, no, but they can also hurt your intestines, and they can hurt the blood vessels, you can bleed, and you can but he's not gonna be drunk before he does the procedure, right? He's going to be sober doing the procedure, right? Yeah, but we don't know how your body is going to react. And when they don't give the consent, either one of the physicians is going to say the patient is confused. He doesn't know what's going on. He's probably disoriented. Or they will tell the patient, you don't want this procedure? Let me call palliative and hospice care and make you comfort care because you don't want this treatment. So eventually patient gives up and they ask you this final question that they think is going to really shake us to the core. And they will ask us, what would you do if it were your family? And the answer is, which family member are you talking about, right? Because if you are talking about my wife, I'll do everything to save her. The reason I don't get life insurance for her is because the temptation would be too strong. Well, so my mom is really happy that we have kids. And, anytime you get married in a Pakistani environment, the moms will come to you and ask you, "Koi khushkhabri hai?" Right? Any good news? And by good news, they mean, like, are you guys pregnant? Like, it's not like, oh, I'm a PhD now, or I got promoted, or I'm on the Forbes cover. It's not good news. I won a Nobel Prize, but any good news? They're asking, and then if you tell them no good news, they will scan you from top to bottom. Like they're trying to look for physical and hormonal issues, why both of you are not getting pregnant. And my mom is always telling me that if you didn't have kids, what would you do? I'm glad you have kids. What would you do otherwise? And I tell her I will do whatever I want if I didn't have kids. The reason most parents want their kids to fulfill their dreams is because they have kids and they cannot fulfill their own dreams. They don't have time to do it. And I've realized that after 4 kids, you can either be productive or be reproductive. You can't be both at the same time. Let me tell you a story that I've told before, but I think it's a good audience to share this story with. A lot of people say money cannot buy happiness. And I think these people have never traveled in economy class and looked at people in the business class who have bought the happiness. They have a cashier tray, they have like all these dry fruits and pina colada and all the stuff that money can buy and make me happy. And we all need to travel. Now there's a lot of pressure to travel. It used to be once a year, but now people would blackmail you. Where are you going this winter vacation? And if you're not blackmailed, they say, where are you taking your kids? We are taking our kids to Disney. Well, okay, we'll take our kids somewhere. So once in a while, you have to travel. And the goal of traveling is to get a picture for Facebook, right? Where you have a kid kind of like sitting on the floor, banging the leg, the other kid's diaper is falling off, and the husband and the wife standing there, #feeling blessed. Now that's the goal of traveling. So no matter how much money you have to travel. And that's another bias against the medical profession. Like a lot of people think doctors are rich. And they haven't seen my bank account. Not all I always wanted to be a truck driver. Because you can go wherever you want, there's no nepotism, no racism, there's great food, lounges, you can take shower. Just my parents couldn't afford making me a truck driver because they didn't know where to send me for training and school, and we didn't have enough guidance to get there. All they knew was like how to get me to medical school. So I still regret not being a truck driver. Okay, but at least you'll be rich when you are. And the thing is, when you are a physician, anyone who is doing a fundraiser or doing real estate or wealth management, they call you and expect you to participate. And I get calls from people who are doing wealth management. I said, who is doing poverty management here? Because I haven't saved enough wealth to need management, but I need help with my next credit card bill. And people think that all these entrepreneurs and trailblazers and all these innovators are running our economy. You know who is running our economy? People sitting on the couch buying stuff, right? So people like my wife who are ordering stuff from Amazon every day, and she is doing it to save us money. Like she is not doing it to hurt us. Like she saves $30 on Costco every day, $40 on Target, $50 on Carter's, buying stuff for. She's saving thousands of dollars every week. The problem is I don't know where all that saving money is going. Like my accounts, anytime I log in, there's an offer for another credit card. Get rid of your interest. Buy our credit card. And we have fights about it. The math doesn't make sense here. The number of boxes we have sitting outside our house from Amazon every day for the whole 5 years that we moved into this house, that volume cannot fit in the space we have in our house. So that's not mathematically possible. It's something supernatural. And Jeff Bezos has that kind of power. Like my wife and I, eventually I said, you're not going to order, our young one, the 18 months old, is learning the alphabets. He already has like 30 books to teach him 26 alphabets. Like, why do we need a new book? Like, my wife was ordering something. I said, you cannot order this. We already have enough of them. He said, this is the only thing I'm ordering for my own happiness. What about all the other things? Did you order them just for my sadness? Like, if this is the only thing for your happiness, what did others? So we came up to an agreement. I told her, you can only order stuff from Amazon once a week. And she didn't order stuff from Amazon for 2 days. I had a call from an unknown number. Hey, it's Ahmed? It's Ahmed? I don't know why it's hard for people to say Ahmed. So, oh, it's Ahmed? I said, well, I don't want to extend my Highlander's warranty. It's a 2013 model, already had like 150,000 miles on it. No, it's Jeff Bezos. What happened to Naida? Don't you dare lay a finger on her. She is the one running this economy. And give me a whole lecture on how the couch potatoes. Say it with me. So who is running Amazon? Couch potatoes. Who is running Netflix? Couch potatoes. Who is running YouTube? Who is running these companies for weight loss? Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly. Couch potatoes. Who's running our country? Deep state. Don't blame everything on couch potatoes. Anyone. So I'm sitting at the back of the plane. I got seat 88C, right next to the toilet where the flight attendant can keep an eye on you. And I'm sitting there without happiness that comes with money. And I have a big guy sitting next to me. And that's kind of strange, how they let you get on the plane. If your hand carry is 2 pounds overweight, they won't let you on the plane. And if you are 200 pounds overweight, you are just fine. Like that weight is going to go on the same plane. If you're worried about the total weight, how did you even let this guy get on the plane? And he's like, when you are sitting in a seat in a plane, there's a restriction to the amount of space you can take at the bottom. But at the top, the protoplasm can expand and follow the second law of thermodynamics and take up all the available space. And there's no molecular boundary there. So I'm sitting there, 88C, trying to sleep. And some people might say this is body shaming, but I've lived in Mississippi for about 5 years, 2012 to 17. And most people there weigh about 400 pounds. And let me tell you, no one is ashamed of their body. Like, they would wear pants like where the belly is hanging out, and they're proud of it. They take family photos with the wife's hand in the husband's belly button, and people are doing trampoline on the grandpa's tummy, like they're jumping around, and they're all happy. All their pictures look like maternity photos, and liver people have a hard time practicing there because they don't know who has ascites and who has a regular belly, and whose belly is filled with fluid, So no one was ashamed. We would send them to zoos for CAT scan. And both my elder kids were born there, so I say both my kids are rednecks. They're all from Mississippi. So all of a sudden, there's an announcement in the plane. Is there a doctor in the plane? And I see the flight attendant pass by me, and I asked her, do you need a doctor? And she looks at me, and she looks at my seat number, 88C. Why don't you fasten your seat belt and make sure that your seat back is upright? We'll find a doctor. We need a doctor, but we'll find a good one. We don't need a doctor sitting in 88C, probably not knowing what he's doing. She didn't even ask me if I was a doctor. She just said, yeah, we'll find someone. And I'm sitting there, and they have this old lady going to Pakistan who's, hi, main mar gayi. I think she got the plate from her neighbor as well because someone was sleeping, so she ate 2 plates and she was having the reflux. Hi, Ma'am Margi. So they are checking her blood pressure. They put a wet cloth on top of her head. And they brought her stuff from business class, all these fancy juices. And she's eating and drinking everything. Like she's still, hi, Ma'am Margi. Hi, Ma'am Margi. And then they found 2 doctors from the business class and 1 EMT, also in business class. Now that was an embarrassment. If an EMT can afford business class and I can't. And I see those 2 doctors checking on her. One of them is just checking her eyes again and again. And one of them is checking her mole, So one was, you can imagine, one was an ophthalmologist, one was a dermatologist. And I asked her again, do you need a doctor? I said, no, just fasten your seatbelt and look at the seat number. And the way you are sitting there, I don't think you can help anyone today. And eventually I lost it. And I got up and I went there, saw this lady. They asked me, do we need to land the plane somewhere? And I told them I only have a week of vacation. And I have a concert to attend tomorrow. And when it's time to go, it's time to go. Right? So we're not going to land the plane. Let's just give her some fluids. And eventually they came to me and asked me, we have a seat in the business class. I said, now you know my worth, huh? Now you know who the real doctor is. Do you want me to get my backpack from 88C? He said, no, we're going to move the patient to the business class. You go back to 88C and fasten your seat belt and make sure your seat back is upright. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for coming and supporting most of my family, friends, who came here all the way from Lake Charles, from Baylor, and all the Pakistani friends here. I can't name everyone, but, my boss is here as well. And I'll tell you one more thing, delaying things, if no one is in a rush, I'll just tell you, people think delaying things is a bad thing, but delaying things can get you places, One, if you are a procrastinator, I didn't know what a procrastinator was. Initially, I heard procrastination or something, But if you're a procrastinator, then 2 things. 1, you may not have to do the stuff that you're delaying, so it may save you some time. And 2, your department chief or chief of your organization, you may get to see them every couple of weeks. Usually you don't get to see them for years. But I get called to their office every other week. Dr. Awan, you still have notes that you haven't finished, Yeah, I'll work on them. And they can't be angry, the mood here, even if they're extremely angry, they have to be very nice. They have to sandwich the feedback between positive criticism and then the negative feedback in the middle. So thank you, everyone, for coming.